Well, hello and welcome back. Thanks for coming back. Today, well, we're actually on the Skipu Industrial Park, I suppose you'd call it. Industrial estate, we call it in English. What have you got on here? Well, you've got Archie Receiver LaBouffe paint shop, yeah. That's on here. You've got various part suppliers, which is why Paul's here today. And you've got aluminium windows, you've got the Keo place just coming over here. So if you want to stick with me, we're going to head out towards Peyia. Why are we going towards Peyia? Because if you follow the channel, you'll understand that Mr. Paul has a body shop and a car mechanics. And believe it or not, an awful lot of my customers live in Peyia. So that's why we're going to Peyia. So stick with us and enjoy the drive. Here we go. So we're exiting the Skipu Industrial Park, shall we say, and we're coming up past the new Neon Mall, which is the former Paphos Mall, or the original Paphos Mall, shall we say, in Uptown Paphos. Just over there, Andrea, you may have noticed that that is McDonald's. Look at that. Uptown McDonald's, that's the one over there. Now we're going to filter to the left. Over there is the Blue Cross Hospital, to give you a bearing. I know quite a few people have been in there, and luckily they've all come out of there. So that's a good sign indeed. Now, coming up down here, we've got a bit of an intersection, a crossroads, a traffic lights, and to give you one or two bearings, on the right hand side is going to be the MG dealer and the Ford dealer, and then just over here is a bathroom and shower specialists. Not that that's much interest to you, I don't suppose, but a bit further at the next traffic lights, we're going to come up to what is the former Debenhams. Now it's the ERA department store and Super Home Centre DIY Centre, but not for long, because they're going to knock it all down and they're going to rebuild, I presume, a superstore and I presume a DIY centre, but on top of all of that, they're going to build a 27-storey skyscraper. So if you're looking for that perfect apartment in downtown Paphos, you never know, that could be that perfect place for you. It's going to have spectacular views if you're on those upper floors, that's for sure. In fact, you'll be able to look out across the blue Mediterranean Sea and perhaps wave to Mr. Ronnie, who's just over there in downtown Israel, the Holy Lands. Good morning to you, Mr. Ronnie. Hope you're doing well, and we hope you're having a spectacular start to the new year. Now, who else can we mention? Well, hopefully, Dawn, Sean, hopefully you're sitting down to your breakfast, and if you are curious to know what time it is, well, it's about 1 o'clock, and the temperature, it's a bit cold today, Dawn, 18.5 degrees. Yeah, we're shivering. Even Mr. Paul has got a little jacket on, because he understands when he has to dismount and pop out to see people, there's a little bit of a nip in the air. But it's not too bad. The sky is a little bit overcast, as you can see, and there's some of those fluffy things in it, but it's not too bad at all. And it's quite busy in and around, because of course it is lunchtime-ish, and as tradition in Cyprus, a lot of people like to go for lunch, as do me and Miss Archie Receiver LaBouffe, by the way. We're guilty of that offence. The most important part of our day is to go for lunch, because of course that is one of the only parts of the day that her and me get to be together, until of course after 5 o'clock, when she eventually finishes work. Now, as for Mr. Paul, well, you know, I'm self-employed, so I don't get to do what I want when I want to do it, but I can do what I want when I want to do it, if you understand. I can always find a way to flex around things, shall we say. So lunch is very important for me and for Marika. And what you may have noticed, we've taken you on our lunch break now and again. We've been to McDonald's, we've been to KFC, and as time goes on, if you like that, perhaps we can take you for lunch every day. You never know. So where are we? We could go straight and make Miss Maggie and Dame Anne very happy and go towards Paradise, but we're not going to go straight. We're going to go right, and we're going to head out into the Universal area, downtown Universal, and then we're going to cut through there, and then we're going to eventually join the Tomb of the Kings Avenue and wiggle and waggle out through Clorica, Kisoniga and Peyia, and finally we will arrive in Coral Bay. So sit back, kick off the shoes, grab yourself a cup of chai, and hopefully enjoy the ride. Happy to have you with me, Alan. switched the machine on, I've checked over my right hand shoulder, and I can see that little twinkle in your eye. You are ready to go. Here we go. So downtown Universal, that's where we are. And again, here's one of my little whinges. Please forgive the wibbling and the wobbling of the camera. It's not actually me, it's the road services. Now, as I said to Alan the other day, I'm going to slow down that little bit just so that he can keep up with us. So hopefully the camera is not going to bounce around quite as much, and hopefully the suspension is not going to have to cope quite so much with these absolutely horrendous, well, I don't know what you call them, craters, holes in the road, whatever you want to call them. I think nuclear bombs have been going off. Caroline, get the pillow, because you're going to need it, I promise you that. And a very good morning to you, and of course to Mr. Nigel Big Guns, and Miss Ellie if you're watching. Rapidly approaching the holiday times again, by the way, so a lot of our superstars that we bumped into last year will be coming back to downtown Paphos again. And for the guys that haven't met us, if you do want to meet us, some people have mentioned in the comments, we understand that most people want to run the other way. We understand that most people have even cancelled their holidays and gone to other countries. We understand that bit. But for those of you who are stupid enough that do want to meet us, if you drop it into the comments, or if you hunt us down on WhatsApp, that kind of thing, pretty easy to find if you understand me. There's even an email address on the about page. Oh, and about the about page, if you do go back, lose my English, where you can start my English. If you do go through to our about page, don't click off, Nigel, don't click off. You could consider, if you like what you see, to hit the buy me a coffee icon. Very much appreciated. And of course, one of those coffees would pay for that little bit of benzene that is being used as we drive around. So if you do get some pleasure out of these videos, please consider making a small contribution to the channel to allow us to keep on going, because contrary to belief, we're not millionaires. Now, Caroline, please get hold of that pillow, because I promise you this bit of road around here is absolutely atrocious, and it really is. The suspension, it's what can I say? It's fighting this way and that way, and it doesn't matter what it does, there's just holes absolutely everywhere. And I'm sure you can see in the road, I mean, well, what road? What is it? A feeble attempt at tarmacking it, what it is, and then it's sunk here and it's sunk here and sunk there, and you know, whatever you do if you come to Paphos to retire and you're thinking about buying a car, whatever you do, don't go and buy a new car. Don't be that stupid. Keep your money and go and buy yourself a car that's 5-6 years old, because I promise you, if you buy a new one, to be honest, they're not built as good as the old ones anyway, but the suspension is going to take one hell of a battering. I mean, look at this surface here. So where are we? We're in the wiggle waggle streets to the rear of the, well, where are we? Universal area, I suppose. And we're rapidly approaching the lower part of Paphos before you go up into the old town. Now, I'm coming this way because you're beating all the traffic, if you understand me. We're not getting hooked up in the traffic in lower Universal, and there's buses and bits and bobs driving around. So stick with us. Streets you've never seen, parts of Paphos you couldn't possibly have imagined of seeing. And it's not a bad place, by the way, it's just the roads. And you can hear me whinge about them over and over, and I'm sure everyone else, wherever they are in the world, except in Switzerland and possibly the upper parts of Germany. Mr. Dirk, Mr. Michael, perhaps your roads are superb. I hope they are, for when you're whizzing around in the Mazda MX-5 with the dog hanging out the window. So hopefully you're having a good new year, and we wish you a prosperous new year. That's our two computer stars who hang out in northern Germany, who we happened to bump into in downtown Coral Bay over the summer period, and they were also had the great pleasure to meet our number one. Mr. Paul Butler was sitting down with us in the Dionysus bar in Coral Bay, and we were having a chinwag, and Mr. Dirk and Mr. Michael accosted us, shall we say, and we had a damn good chinwag, that's for sure. We sat around, had a good laugh and a joke, and as Mr. Dirk and Mr. Michael said, they were given the great honour of meeting our number one, Mr. Paul Butler, superstar amongst superstars. And Mr. Paul, we wish you well. I mean, you put it in open comments, so many of our family members will have read it. You understand that bit. So Mr. Paul is currently in hospital and he's having an operation, and he'll come back stronger, he'll come back faster. He'll be the Steve Austin of Paul Butlers in the downtown Manchester Stockport area, and he'll come back fighting, that's for sure. He's the man that's in charge of holding the baby, by the way, and he's the man that constantly posts, come on, we need more subscribers, come on, keep going. That's that guy, and a superstar amongst superstars. He's going to hopefully come back out to Paphos next year, and we're humbled that he is among our family members. He truly is a great man indeed. And he's got a partner in crime, Miss Bev, and she's a lovely lady as well. And Jeannie, if you're watching, Mr. Allen, if you're watching up there in Edinburgh in Scotland, big hello to you, and hopefully you had a good Hogmanay and a very happy new year to you. Alan, keep on with the life insurance sales. I think I might need someone, because as Jeremy Payne was commenting last night, and Simon Payne, that's double trouble, they were saying that someone has stolen the rock that Mr. Paul infamously fell over in the St. George Harbour, and they think that LaBouffe may have taken it, and she might place it somewhere else. So possibly I might need some life insurance, and if LaBouffe is involved, we're going to need several millions. So there could be a very good commission there for you, Alan. Anyway, thanks for joining us in the Coral Beach Hotel with Mr. Paul Butler and Miss Bev. We had a great evening, and we look forward to doing it again. We really do. So here we go. We're on the Tomb of the Kings Avenue, or the last bit of the Tomb of the Kings Avenue. To the left hand side now is actually the Tomb of the Kings archaeological site. I had trouble with that word, I always do, but I think I got it almost right that time. It's a bit of a mouthful, but that's to the left hand side. So if you want to go for a wiggle and waggle in there, you cross the palm of the man at the gate with €2.50. So it's €2.50 a pop, and then you can go in and see the relics and the columns and the bits and bobs. Not much interest to me, but I understand that I'm a pretty boring and a bit of stupid people, so some people do like it, so that's where you're going to go. Give you some bearings. Venus Beach, 5-star hotel on the left hand side. Capital Coast, again on the left hand side. On the right hand side there was the little supermarket. So if you're in an apartment around here and you want to get some groceries, some chocolates and some bits and bobs, that's where you would go. And please forgive these potholes, they are horrendous. There you go. We'll stop at these red lights, and this gentleman did as well. Unusual in Cyprus. There we go. So where are we? Well, we're coming towards Lower Clorica. What you're looking at now, the townhouses and villas scattered around in the countryside there, that is Lower Clorica, or that's what I'm led to believe. You know, perhaps the locals will disagree with me, but we're going to call it Lower Clorica. Got a benzene station if you're curious to know how much it is. I'm in a diesel, so 161.9, so around about £1.50 a litre. That's what that is. So as I was saying, if you buy us a coffee, you will, what are you going to buy me? Half a litre, sorry, you're going to buy me half a gallon in English, isn't it? Half a gallon of benzene. So how much we're going to use to go from Paphos to Coral Bay? Well, about a gallon, and about a gallon on the way back. So as you can see, we are truly a loss-making channel, that's for sure. Contrary to the belief that all YouTubers are millionaires, we are not. You might start off as a millionaire, but as your YouTube channel grows, I promise you, we will get poorer and poorer, that's for sure. Anyway, here we are. If you want to buy a luxury villa, down to the left there, Aristo Developers, that's the #1 developer in Paphos, is building them. And they're millions, so go and have a look. King Eliathan Hotel on our left hand side there, luxury 5-star hotel in downtown Paphos. Various superstars have stayed there. My cousin James up in Scotland, Karina, his beautiful wife, and of course their wonderful daughter Miss Dally have stayed there a couple of years back, and hopefully they're going to come back this year. That's the plan anyway, so we wish you all the luck. Hopefully there's a couple of Uncle Bobs under your bed, cuz James, and twist their arms, and I'm sure you'll be able to get yourself out to Paphos. Someone else who stayed in that hotel, we went to meet him, Mr. Tom. Our Tom, who likes to play games, superstar amongst superstars, came out with his mum, dad and 2 sisters, and he had a great holiday. And he keeps commenting now and again that it's cold back in Blighty. Well, it's a bit cold in Paphos today, to be honest. Dawn, if you're listening, it's only 19.5 degrees. It's warmed up a little bit from when the videos first started, but I'm pretty sure you can see that the sky has gone a little bit greyer. So it's not always paradise in downtown Paphos, just most of the time. So we're still in Lower Clorica, but rapidly we're going to enter into the area known as Kosonaga. And here we go. Premier Electrical's coming up on our right hand side, as its name suggests. Well, it's an electrical retailer. You've got the refreshed 24-hour kiosk, but to be honest, it's a bit more than a kiosk. It's a mini supermarket. You want a coffee and a bus, you want to go Coffee Me on your left hand side there. Parades of shops around here, so anything you might want is in and around this area if you're staying in an apartment or a hotel. If you were to go left at these traffic lights, you would go to the St. George Hotel. Quite a few of our stars have stayed in there, and I'm sure many people are going to come out this summer and stay there again. You've got the Leonardo Lara Beach and Splash Resort there on the left hand side, and then coming up a bit further is going to be the Azure Hotel, and then you've got the Helios Bay Hotel. Many of our superstars have stayed in these places, and they come back year and year and year again. And you've got the Baracus Lounge Bar, big car park here, public car park to allow you to get down to the coastal pathway. And then there is a bar called the Baracus Lounge with spectacular views out across the blue Mediterranean Sea. There it is. There's the Azir or Azor. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. You've got Marios Mini Golf Park on the right hand side there. You've got the Helios Bay. If you go hunting for this hotel, you can pop it in the search bar, Marika and me, Helios Bay, and guess what? Up it's going to come. So now we start our descent really towards, well, Kosonaga area. And then after Kosonaga, the descent will be into Peyia and Coral Bay. So if you want to see a bit of Peyia and a bit of Coral Bay, stick with us. See how we're hooking you in. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of traffic on the road because it is that lunchtime. The weather's rather nice, and there's a lot of people racing around. How you doing there, Alan? You keeping up? Yeah? Driving that little bit slower, so you know, you haven't got to put your foot down. You can keep it at around about 3 or 4 kilometres on the treadmill. Treadmill. And stick with the seek. Receive Yellow Booth. That's Miss Marika, my partner in crime. Is stealing my English even when she's sitting next to me. Now, drop it in the comments, by the way, because I was thinking, you know, some people do seem to like these videos. I understand a lot of people don't, and a lot of people click off, and that's your choice. But 1 or 2 people do like to join me and keep me company. Hopefully Miss Maggie's going to become the narrator in March. And anyone else who wants to be the narrator obviously can join us on our travels. Just drop it in the comments and I'll pick you up, and you can wiggle and waggle with me and chitter chatter on the way. This is downtown Kosonaga, by the way. Various bars, restaurants, supermarkets, that kind of thing. But as I was saying, so I was thinking about including for the foreseeable future 1 or 2 driving videos a day, and then of course when Receive Yellow Booth, Miss Marika comes back, we'll go back to the normal schedule of 2 videos of her and me monkeying around and visiting here and visiting there. So perhaps if you're lucky you might get 4 videos a day, and if you're very, very unlucky you'd get 4 videos a day, because I understand people do hate us. But drop in the comments, let us know what you want. Do you like to sit in the passenger seat with Mr. Paul and have a wiggle and a waggle around? This is the Atlantica Mari Village Paphos Hotel on the left hand side. That's quite a new hotel that was finished off in around about 2020 and opened up, I think its first season was 21, and then of course its first full season was the season just gone in the year 22, and 23 will be its second proper season, because of course we are in 2023. if you're wondering what year it is. And, we're in January, temperature 19.5 degrees, Dawn. Sean, have you finished your breakfast? Sonny's restaurant over there on the right hand side. A lot of people like to go in there in the evening and have their evening meal or their tea, because they understand it's just elevated enough to watch the sunset out over Coral Bay, because that's where it does actually set. And a spectacular view indeed. So now we're on our descent to Coral Bay. The last place coming up on our left hand side is the CU Beach Bar, closed at this time of year, but a hugely popular bar where people go and hang out, chill out, get a frappe, get a Dayman cocktail, maybe an OO so-so sweet, and maybe even something a bit stronger, maybe a Nigel Big Guns. So here we go. This is the blue Mediterranean Sea now. That's going to be our friend for the next couple of minutes on the left hand side, and banana groves and that sort of thing on our right hand side. This is the bit of no man's land between Cassoniga and Downtown Peyia, and of course Coral Bay, which is in our view to the left hand side. So we'll get into the municipality of Peyia, and there'll be a big welcome sign coming up on our right hand side very soon, and then we'll hit the Coral Bay roundabout. We'll take a left and we'll wiggle up the Coral Bay strip, especially for James Henry, because he's thinking about coming to Coral Bay for a holiday next time round. And he says, show us the strip, show us what open. And well, not a lot is going to be open, James, I can promise you that, not a lot. But one or two bars are open. But of course, if you're coming out any time after March, it'll all be open, back in full swing, and it crescendos all the way through June, July, August, September, October, and then starts to wind down again in November, and pretty much shut down in December. But there are restaurants that open up on the weekends, and family tavernas, that kind of thing, because there's an awful lot of expats that live in Peyia. Population of around about 4,000. Of those 4,000, 2,000 or thereabouts are foreign nationals. Now, they're not all British, but primarily they are. But there's a lot of Ukrainians and Russians and French and Swiss, quite a few Germans. You never know, Mr. Dirk and Mr. Michael might be joining their congregation soon. It's a hot pot and a mix, and everyone gets on very well. Obviously, the main language to converse in is English, because, well, you know, without trying to insult anyone, and not because I am British, that is the language that the world has adopted to be able to communicate with each other. Very much to the annoyance of the French, but hey, who cares about them, eh? Do you remember Waterloo? Yes, who remembers about them? Anyway, we're not a political channel, we're a funny channel and a jokey channel, and all that's missing is you, and of course Marika. She'll be back soon. Those who follow the channel understand what I'm talking about. She will be back very soon. Come back fighting and full of life, and we're going to bounce into action, that's for sure. So where are we? Well, Peyia, that's where we are. If you'd go right there, you'd go up into Peyia. We're going to go left, as the sign says, Coral Bay. So here we are, James Henry, here it is. This is Coral Bay. Bank of Cyprus, that's closed. The Renegades, that's closed. Tex-Mex, that's closed. The Salanathi, or however you say it, that's closed. The IK for your phone seems to be open. Zetta's bar restaurant's open. This supermarket is open. The Santa Maria fish and chip shop, it sells other things as well, by that, that's open. That kiosk is closed. Chalkies is open. The Kikos bar is open. That shopping centre is closed. This supermarket is closed. The Serenini restaurant opens on a weekend. Othello's is closed. The Canto is open. But as you can see, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Some are open, some are closed. So there's not really a lot going on. There's a bit more going on the weekend. But as I say, most people are not coming back out here until March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. And of course, perhaps the odd straggler in November. Don't worry, it'll all be open by then. let's get down to the beach, shall we? Let's go and have a look. And like I say, if you think these roads are bad, Caroline, if you're sitting on a double pillow, you wait till we get onto the unmade car park for Coral Bay. Then you're going to know what it's like to have a sore bottom. So just when the road surface wasn't bad enough, then they decided to put some speed bumps and some more potholes in as well. Anyway, that's the rant over, I promise you. Well, maybe not. Anyway, I'd like to say thanks for joining me. I really, really would. We're going to turn into this unmade car park now. And if you'd like to do it all over again, please don't forget to come back that little bit later, because we will be driving around somewhere, that's for sure. And you never know, we might even go for a dismount. So people are familiar with this area. This is the unmade car park, which is above the Coral Bay beach. So stick with us, allow the car to slowly make its way, and please forgive the camera work, because obviously it's bobbing around all over this place. But well, what can you say? There we go. You never know, they might find a couple of bob one of these days and tarmac this like they do in civilised countries. There we are. That's the rant over, I promise you. That's the car we want, you see. One of those big Land Cruisers. I used to have one of those in the UK a few years back. Same colour as that. And that was a very good car as well. I used to use it to go on site and that kind of thing. If you're wondering what I used to do in the old days, I used to have a paving company in the UK. So we had a concreting company and a paving company. And we used to relieve people of large sums of money to do their driveways and that kind of thing. And I had one of those exactly the same as that in silver. And great vehicle. Never ever let me down. So I have had a few four-wheel drives in the past, if you understand me. But I don't hold them in that much high esteem. You know, they're not very fast, they're not very comfortable, but they are very good at carrying things in the back and pulling things like diggers. Yeah, you're understanding now, yeah? I used to pull the mini digger, and we had a slightly bigger mini digger as well, so I used to pull that from site to site in one of them. As you see, Coral Bay Beach is a little bit deserted. You know, Caroline, get your pillow out. Look at that, bang. Luckily I'm in an E-Class Mercedes, an old one, but a very comfortable old girl she is indeed. Absolutely fantastic car. I've had her for 6 years. She's coming on to what, 15 years old now, by the way. Yep, I got no money, if you understand me. So she's coming on to 15 years old, but she's still a running strong, that's for sure. Now, have a look at that. I don't think it gets much better than that. Let's go for a dismount, shall we? Let's really spoil you and show you that little bit of movement in the beach. Let's go and get some fresh air. Here we are. So stick with us. Thanks for joining me, by the way. I mean that sincerely. Got a little jacket on, Dawn, because it's a little bit cold. But let's go for a little walk. Let's show you what's going on the beach. There are quite a few people around, by the way, because, well, it is a beautiful time of year, that's for sure. So we're going to walk down, and I'm going to take you with us, and we're going to get to the water's edge, and we're going to see just how beautiful it is in downtown Paphos. Very special place to come if you want to go on a holiday or perhaps retire here. It's a great place to come. So stick with us. Here we go. Here it comes. Adds new meaning to the word beach walk, eh? As you can see, there's a little bit of chopsiness in the sea today. There's a little bit of a breeze, Dave, if you're wondering. It's not windy. I'm not going to say it's windy, but I am going to say there's a little bit of a chopsiness in the air and a little bit of chopsiness in the water. So have a look at that. Feast your eyes and digest. I don't think it can get much better. It really is an absolutely spectacular place to come and enjoy your holiday. Downtown Coral Bay Beach. We're having a bit of a beach walk on, well, we're in the second week of January, if you understand now. Temperature, Dawn, if you're curious, 18.5, 19 degrees. Takes your breath away every time you do it. So get yourself on a big bird or a canoe and start paddling like crazy, because Cyprus is quite simply waiting for you. Feast your eyes and digest. Thanks very much for watching. There you go, Miss Andrea. Wet feet again.